Public anger is swelling in South Korea, where the nation is in mourning after more than 150 people were killed on Saturday night. A crowd surge in a tight alleyway crushed people celebrating Halloween in a popular nightlife spot. Now police say they did receive multiple distress calls ahead of the tragedy. The police chief has apologized for not responding faster and is vowing to learn from the mistakes.
These blood-stained shoes are waiting to be claimed by the families of those who died. In this sports hall, authorities have lined up belongings left behind after the deadly crush. Many of these items will never be returned to their owners. South Korea is grieving. People keep pouring to the site where the overwhelming crowd crushed their loved ones.
I think I could have done better. I didn't see it coming and left halfway through the evening. But the people I walked past may have died later. If I had seen it coming, I would have been able to help. But I just got out early. I feel guilty for being there.
South Korea's President Yoon Suk-yeol also paid his respects. The police in Seoul have admitted mistakes were made. The police chief says emergency services received a number of calls about the cramped conditions before the incident.
We think the police response to the emergency calls was inadequate. As a representative of the organization, I feel a heavy responsibility for this incident.
But this apology won't offer much solace to the many families mourning the loss of their loved ones.
The journalist Josh Smith is a senior correspondent with Reuters news agency in Seoul. I asked him about the admission of responsibility from the police.
So yes, after initially saying that an increased police presence wouldn't have made any difference in this situation, authorities are now admitting inadequacies, not only in preparation, which we've come to understand mostly focused on crime prevention and COVID-19 measures rather than any discussion of crowd control. But also it's become increasingly clear today that there were also apparent shortcomings in the police response once it became clear that there was a rising danger. There were these number of emergency calls that people placed with increasing desperation, and our understanding is that at least out of 11 of these calls, the police only responded to 4 of them, and it's unclear what measures they took in response to those calls that they did respond to. So there's likely to be more details come out as we learn more about the exact response. But certainly, as you noted, that outrage is rising, and that led to increasing admissions of responsibility from authorities here.
Josh, how has this tragedy affected the city of Seoul?
It certainly cast a pall over what otherwise would have been a rather lively holiday weekend. Halloween is not a major holiday in South Korea, but for particularly young people, it's a major time to party. And as we saw in Itaewon, many people were quite excited to get out and enjoy a good time, really for the first Halloween that hasn't had to have major COVID-19 restrictions since the pandemic. But all of that really came to an end, obviously, after Saturday night's tragedy. And so we saw a lot of events canceled across the city and the country, and a lot of real questioning as well, basically, how could this have happened, and what does this mean, not only in this kind of specific instance, but kind of a rising question, particularly by young South Koreans, who already feel like the government often doesn't hear their concerns or take care of them.
All right, that is Josh Smith, senior correspondent with Reuters in Seoul. Thank you, Josh.